Dollars worth of game. Can't feel that I work too hard. Poetry only needs.
What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, Dope Boy Diesel, back in the Doja room. Excuse me, you're a little late, but we're always right on time. We're always right on time. Let's check and make sure we got some sound. Okay. All right. Had to make sure we got our sound live. Had to make sure we firing on all cylinders real quick. And yeah, got to make sure we're on all the platforms that we need to be on real quick. So, just making sure we got all of that on deck, which I think we do. I think we do. Let me just see real quick. So we want to make sure, I'm just trying to make sure that we're streaming on Rumble and we're streaming on Kick as well. Just making sure we're streaming on Rumble and Kick. And make sure we on both platforms today. We're going to start back where we left off in the Diddy trial. Okay, bet. All right, so we're live on Rumble. That's perfect. Perfect. Just have to make sure we're up and running. Okay. All right, bet. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're up and running on Rumble real quick. Make sure that we're firing on all cylinders. Let me see how we looking on X. How y'all doing on X, man? How y'all doing on X? What's up? Talk to me. All right, we looking good. All right, bet. I hope y'all are coming in. Hope y'all are getting nice and oiled up. It is that day, okay? I don't know where my Dr. Teals is. Y'all know I don't keep the Johnson and Johnson, but I got that Dr. Teals for you niggas. I don't know where it's at right now, but I got that Dr. Teals for you niggas. Get nice and oiled up. It's your boy Dope Boy Diesel, okay? Welcome to the Doja Room. It is now time for us to get into our scheduled program like we planned. We got to put something in the air. We are going to roll a little something up, just making sure we got everything right. But to all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts, I appreciate you guys for coming into the Doja Room today. We are a little late, but I don't know. I was exhausted, bro. I was up all night, didn't get a wink of sleep, and I already knew that it was either gonna be I get some shut eye for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, or it's just not gonna happen. So I had to make sure I'm nice and fresh in here. But hey, that just makes it so we can get more content and we can shoot a little bit more. So before we get to that, of course, as always, we do have a couple of topics to slug through real quick. Okay, we do got a couple of topics. I was waiting to talk to about this one for a little minute, but we got a couple of topics to get through. Only like two, and then we're gonna get to the Diddy stuff. What we've all been waiting for this week. Yes. So, like I said, we're gonna do our two topics, then we're gonna get to the Diddy stuff. Okay. So over the weekend, pretty much over the entire weekend, uh, one of our favorites here in the Doja room, uh, cooking with Kaya, apparently got caught cheating, quote unquote, and I say cheating, quote unquote, because she was throwing it back. Okay, she was throwing it back. And hold on, let me just make sure I got. Man, let me just make sure I got my shit on point. Oh my god, they bugging out. See, this is why you can't just, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be out here going on Twitter because they'll be setting you up. So, you know what I mean? She be having the nip slips and all type of shit. But cooking with Kaya, she got caught while at Streamers University doing what she does best. I mean, that's partly why we all love Cooking with Kaya, is it not? You know what I'm saying? Like, she be throwing it back. Okay, let's not be confused. Like, hold on, we gotta share the screen. We gotta share the screen real quick. We all know what we here for, fellas. Come on, that girl eating healthy. Yeah, she eating real healthy. Come on now. Oh. So you know what I'm saying, but she eating real healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me cut over to something else because this shit, you know, these niggas is bugging. But she eating real healthy. You know what I mean? Let me get to. I'm trying to get to the particular clip that apparently niggas was watching in 4K. While I guess the boyfriend wasn't invited to Streamer University, and this dude named Z or Zay or some shit like that. Well, goddamn. How hard is it to find the fucking? These niggas just be posting bullshit sometimes. It be just be a whole bunch of bullshit on the timeline. This is why I got it. This is why I make bookmarks. But this is the only thing. This is the only clip I didn't make a bookmark of for whatever reason. And you can't even find a clip of the shit because niggas is just posting porn. Like the fuck. Like Cooking with Kaya, you might as well just make a OnlyFans at this point, cause bro, niggas is out here just posting fantasy porn about you, bro. Like the fuck, just fantasy porn after fantasy porn. Like who the fuck? Like what the fuck is going on? Like what is going? Like, what do y'all niggas got going on? Fuck that. Fuck it. I don't even want. Fuck it. I got bookmarks. Fuck. Looking for the video where she got caught. The boyfriend was looking. All of that. We're gonna just skip over that. We're gonna just skip over all of that. So long story short, she gets caught throwing it back at Streamer University. If you ask me, it's not even really that serious because I can barely even peep what's going on. So I want to get into some of the clips of him basically, you know, responding to the whole thing. So let's go here.
Shark University. Let's keep listening.
It's Streaming University. He should have knew that she was gonna make content with other dudes.
I knew she was gonna make content with other dudes. I had no problem with that. Nigga, I wanted her to go up, nigga, get the exposure that she needed and go crazy. You feel me? Of course that. I knew that. But nigga, it was just some boundaries that I wanted set, my nigga. And not trying to control it, nothing like that. Nigga, it was just some boundaries that to level of respect that the nigga wants. You feel me?
That ain't being controlling, bro.
Like I just want nigga want a little bit of like, you feel me? Certain shit that I don't want going on.
That's the game, bro. She a content creator. He should have knew the dudes there was gonna be thirsting over her.
The dudes there, nigga. She probably got more checks in her goddamn DMs than a fucking Foot Locker back storage room, nigga. Like, what you talking about, nigga? She ain't worried about nobody at this fucking university. Oh, this is the clip. This is the clip I was looking for. That's been scrubbed off the fucking internet for some reason. What the hell? This is old boy reacting to the shit? Is this the same person? Can I see you as my crush? This nigga's name is Zay on that. I guess that's his name. Yeah, Zay on that. You got that clip.
He should have knew that she was gonna make content with other dudes.
Let me see. This is the same clip. That
I don't want. I don't want to be publicly embarrassed. You feel me? I don't want to be publicly embarrassed. She wasn't fucking with shit. Okay, I don't want to be publicly embarrassed, right? I don't want to be publicly disrespected, right? And I don't want her to let no nigga slide that's trying to get on that. Like, I'm not saying you gotta be disrespectful to the nigga and just automatically dub the nigga, but I no.
Nah, yes you
that shit.
do. Wait, fuck you talking about? Yes, you do. You gotta automatically dub the nigga. Fuck you. You mean you gotta let you telling your you niggas is out here telling your bitch you gotta let a nigga down easy? The fuck is you talking about? Hell yeah, you gotta be direct, up front, and personal. Be disrespect. Yeah, be disrespectful. Fuck is this nigga talking about? My bitch better be disrespectful, nigga. Tell you to eat a dick, all that shit. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? The hell? This is already you giving the bitch too much leeway already. You're giving the bitch too much leeway already.
Put a nigga in a friend zone. The niggas that watch Twitch.
The fuck is up with everything fucking buffering? The fuck, nigga? About to make me refresh the page. Come on, what we doing?
Things that I don't want
bullshit.
her to let no nigga slide that's trying to get on that. Like, I'm not saying you gotta be disrespectful to the nigga and just automatically dub the nigga, but
you do.
No entertaining that shit. Put a nigga in a friend zone. The niggas that watch Twitch more.
Nah. See, you doing too much. Put him in the friend zone. Fuck is you talking? He already showed that he want to fuck. He already told you he want to fuck. Friend zone what? The fuck? Friend zone, nigga.
Embarrassed now.
Nigga said put her in the friend zone, nigga. You mean put him in line? You mean put him in line behind you? The fuck is you talking about? Put him in the friend zone. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? This nigga's crazy. See, niggas be over here trying to be too, oh, I'm not that kind of guy, too overly friendly. Nah, fuck all that. Nigga, yo bitch is your bitch, nigga. The fuck you mean? Let him down easy and put him in the friend zone and keep him around. You know, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, me was like, what the fuck? Nigga, just because.
Is niggas good? The fuck? The fuck with this shit keep on fucking buffering? Doing this bullshit today.
The niggas that watch Twitch more, I'm publicly embarrassed now. Bro, I've been publicly embarrassed about this shit, nigga. Everybody that know me was like, what the fuck? Nigga, just because not everybody knew, a lot of people knew. I got a lot of supporters, bro. Everybody that knew me knew that we was together. So I was getting embarrassed the whole time, bro. Y'all should see my.
First of all, let me just got niggas. This is the nigga who's been fucking cooking with Kaya. This is the nigga. Bro. You's better off not doing this. I'm not gonna hold you. In a sense, if you really love that bitch, if you really still wanted to be with that bitch, you shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did
my
this.
Discord game. These niggas are on my ass. I'm like, and the thing is, I'm in the Discord. I'm like, nah, you're not doing shit. Not nothing happening. No, nothing going on. No entertaining shit. Nothing. You feel me? We knew. Yeah, all y'all niggas knew. But and let me tell y'all why. There's three things.
Bro, she's 100% entertaining shit, my boy. She's 100% entertaining shit. So let's go on here.
Of course, I have feelings for him, but I feel like he really did the most about this situation. The way he's trying to slander my name, like I'm a whore. First of all, if I was one, that would be embarrassing for you. Like, why would you stay with a whore? Why would you cry for a whore when she says she wants you to go get established and that she doesn't want to be in a relationship? Why would you literally cry?
She hit you with the, I want you to get established. I don't want to be in a relationship, bro. You know what she telling you, bro? Look, let me just be real. When you coming up in this space and you coming up in this world and you happen to have a bit now, it's to my understanding, I think homie is about 23 years old. And when you coming into the world and you coming up and you got a joint, you know, you got a little shorty, she's not as known as you, she's your joint. This is basically what happened with them, okay? She's your joint, all right? She's your little fine shit, because Kaya's some fine shit. So she your fine shit, you know what I'm saying? You got her on your arm. You doing pretty decently. Like, you not the average streamer. Let's just put it that way. Homie is obviously, you seen his chat. He's not the average streamer. But all of a sudden, one day, shorty blows up And out of nowhere, she's cooking with Kaya now. And all the niggas know cooking with Kaya. I'm telling you, shorty, Shaq done hit her up at least 2 times. We all know Shaq done hit her up at least twice. All right, Shaq been trying to get in them jeans. Half the NFL, half the NBA. Like, you have to understand, and I get it. Homie tried to, like, I think he followed her to the university and stayed at a hotel like down the street or 10 minutes away. He did some weird shit. But it was like, yo, bro, you trying to hold on to the inevitable at this point. And that's what it is. And I get that. But having a bitch like cooking with Kaya is like you're about to go and you're not as lit as her. Even if you was as lit as her, it'd probably be a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but she's already on an upgrade mindset, bro. She's already looking at the niggas hitting her up, and they already have 100 times your bank account just floating. Like they're chilling, like they're comfortable. These niggas already have 100 times your bank account. They're athletes. They look better. They're taller. They smell better. I'm sorry. That's tough. I'm sorry. Like I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to break it to you niggas easy. I'm trying to tell you what's going on right now. But that just is what it is. That just is what it is. Like, bro, she is slowly in her head. She is already monkey branching. And I fuck with cooking with Kaya. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know how we give it up at the Doja. We fuck with her. We fuck with shorty because she has, regardless of, whatever is going on, the fact that she has been staying around this long and then, like she's saying, like she's dubbing it. She like, oh, bro, how I'm cheating on you? And we not even together. She not claiming you. Shorty not even claiming you.
Okay? Like, y'all, I've never seen a man cry.
Oh, shit. She about to start talking about how she ain't never seen a man cry like how you was
like that.
crying.
I'm not, men can cry. But it just got to the point where it's like, dang, like every time I tell you anything like that, like you should take, like that should be a good thing. I just want you to be established. That's all I want.
Nah, you gaslighting, shorty. We can't. Nah, we gotta get cause Kaya, you don't just want this nigga to get established. You don't want this nigga to get established. There's no 23-year-old who's established. You're asking him to do the fucking impossible. Damn near. There's no 23-year-old out here who's established. Niggas is barely established at 30. Nigga, fuck is you talking about? So it's like you don't even know what you're asking for. But at the same time, too, Kaya's trying to upgrade. Like Kaya's getting hit up by niggas who she can sit back and be cooking with Kaya for the rest of her fucking life. And then niggas might fund the whole goddamn show. There's niggas right now in her DM telling her, bitch, I'll fund your show. I'll put you on Showtime. I'll put you on Paramount Plus, on Disney Plus, give you your own show right now. Yeah, nigga, she's getting hit up by ballers. She's getting hit up by the best of the top tier niggas. I'm not even glazing. I'm just saying, like, this is just the reality, my nigga. Bro, you're cooked. You're cooked. She already in that mindset. Once a bitch start talking to you like, yeah, maybe you should try to, maybe this relationship is distracting you. Maybe you should just try to establish yourself. Maybe you should focus on yourself. Maybe you should focus on your career. Maybe I'm too much of a distraction, Once a bitch start talking to you like that, you should already be in the mindset of like you about to do 10 years in the pen, nigga. Just let it go. She just let it go. There's no point of doing that shit. Don't even do it to yourself. Homie was better off trying to play it mutual. Shorties like this, you gotta just take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you start fucking with the cooking with Kayas of the world, the India loves, the this and the that, I don't give a fuck how you look. Get your good 3 months in. Fuck the shit out of her. Okay? Get your good 3 months in and keep it pushing. You can't let emotions get get attached to women like this who are so easily, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Kaya don't really seem like the type of chick that is so easily like just hopping on to whatever nigga or whatever. She doesn't give that. That's why I'm not going in on her like that for real, because she doesn't really give like some Remy Ma ass bitch. Like she doesn't really give that. What she really gives is somebody who, I mean, you look at them, they're just not, they don't even look compatible. They don't even look from the same universe. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine her probably dealing with certain shit and putting up with this nigga while she wasn't as lit. But you can already tell bitch not posting you, bitch not, you know what I'm saying? She not screaming to the mountaintops, my man, my man, my man, all that bullshit. You already got to raise a red flag if she's not doing that. You already fake got to raise a red flag if she's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say worshiping the ground you walk on, but like, the goddamn, like, you know what I'm saying? Showing you some type of appreciation. You feel me? Like, showing you something. Just a little something. But it's worth just letting this shit go, because once the writing is on the wall and then you get to the point where this nigga, you trying to police her. I think in one clip she was saying like, you know, I can't do nothing. Like this nigga's, she basically saying you always on her. She basically saying you always on her body. She can't do nothing. You always wondering, which I get it, bro. She's lit. Now you probably done seen like, oh shit. This nigga play for the Giants. This nigga play for Miami Dolphins. Like, what the fuck is he doing in my bitch shit? What he doing in my bitch DMs? You feel me? This nigga just dropped the blockbuster movie. What he doing in my bitch DMs? What he doing in my bitch? I know you. I feel you, bro. That's what you thinking. Like, goddamn, this nigga got a Fortune 500 company, right? Like, what is he doing in my bitch DMs, little old Kaya? What is he? So you went rabbit. You went crazy. You started doing too much, and in doing too much, you started pushing her away. You started giving her excuses, reasons. See, a bitch in Kaya's position, the only thing she looking for next, because she's not going to do it to you. She's not necessarily going to do anything that's going to make herself look crazy. Kaya is not one of those. She might do a little dirt, but she ain't going to do nothing to make you know. She's going to give you enough rope to hang yourself so that when she get the stepping, it's going to look justified, my nigga. It's going to look justified. So yes, she going to be over here talking about how you've been over here crying and how you've been begging her to stay for the past, I don't know how many months, and you've been on her body, you following her around, you trying to make sure she's, you know what I mean? Like, you doing too much, you trying to smother her, and she basically already saying in so many words that she wants you to get established. Bro, you already in the top 1% of streamers, nigga. How more established does she want you to get? That's bullshit. That's bullshit, nigga. She's telling you this shit because she's trying to let you off easy, nigga. She got niggas with hundreds of millions of dollars in her DM. She can be set for the rest of her life, and she don't even necessarily have to take her pick right now. She can just have her fun. She can just have her fun. This is why niggas don't even listen to the bullshit. Even if you are established, bro, these bitches is too finicky. They too finicky. Even when you are established, and then you can't even be like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how niggas go. We do things sometimes, we fuck up sometimes, we get to a place or get to a point where we gotta learn and evolve as men. But you know what I'm saying? Like, women are not women of the past. Once you do one thing to a woman, she's holding that in her back pocket as a get out of jail free card, bro. And Kaya looked like she's been holding a couple get out of jail free cards for a minute. That's why she's just taking it light on you. Like, yo, bro, all I did was tell him to get established, bro. She's not spinning the block on you, nigga. She's not spinning the block on you. That's bullshit. I'm just keeping it a buck. That's bullshit. She gaslighting you. That's tough, but you know what I'm saying? She's gaslighting you like a motherfucker. That's bullshit. So then homie post, you know what I'm saying? He got up with the girl. He did exactly what you should do when you're in a predicament like this. Now, this is probably a little bit more performative because he probably loved Kaya. Bro, I'm not gonna hold you. He's still crying. He's still calling Kaya right now. He's still boo-hooing. But I'm gonna tell you, you can't cry after this one. This is after you do your big one like this. After you do your big one like this, it's a wrap. Now she like, oh, wait, let's watch the clip. Yeah, Shorty's thirst. She's ready to be the next one. Look, bro, you're not even trying to really touch the ass. Like you're not trying to grab the ass, nothing, bro. You're not really trying to live right now. You still in your feelings. Look at him. She throwing the ass on you. She throwing it at you, bro.
Come back. Yo, chat.
He ain't even paying attention.
One day at a time, bro.
Let me get my drink.
It's some more fine shit, but she ain't Kaya though. She ain't wholesome. You know what I mean?
One day at a time. Guess what?
It's not one day. It's one.
But you gotta bring the slutties around. Like you gotta bring the treesh. You gotta bring the treesh out.
Ass at a time.
One ass at a time?
I can be number one.
Huh?
I can be number one.
Come on, she ready. That's how easy it is, fellas. You a little lit, bro. You gonna get back. We already see it. Like you flexing, you gonna get back, bro. You gonna get back. But Kaya, she's gone. She's gone, bro. She's too up there. Like it's just something with women where they if they're the person who is up here and you're down here, they're looking like, all right, nigga, you're inadequate. I gotta, yeah, like, but if you're the motherfucker that's up here and she's down here, oh yeah, you expected to hold that down. Like you supposed to, you know what I mean? Like you ain't supposed to cheat. You ain't supposed to do nothing. You supposed to hold that down. But I don't know. It with this, bro. Once she sees this, oh, she's definitely about to be like, oh, all right, nigga, what you was mad for, nigga? Like, oh, now I'm definitely about to, yeah, now she about to be on her Cardi B shit. She about to start popping out with the nigga now. She about to start really entertaining these niggas in her DMs now. Now you done started something that you feel me? You're gonna pay for this. At some point, you're gonna pay for this. I'm not gonna lie. I hope you get her out your system. But even when you first see it, it's gonna fuck you up. I'm not gonna lie. When you first see your ex pop out after a good couple of months, y'all ain't talk, y'all ain't see each other, y'all blocked each other. Me personally, y'all niggas still be talking with y'all exes, doing all of this shit. I block a bitch. I'm not still talking to her, going back and forth. Oh my god, I miss you, but no, nigga, no, you're blocked. I ain't see you for a good year. I know a bitch right now. She was blocked. She was blocked for a good almost 10 years. Almost. Yeah, it get like that. It get like that. We don't got nothing to talk about. We don't got nothing to talk about, shorty. I got things to do. You got things to do. We got, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got nothing to talk about. But it's going to fuck you up when you first see them pop out. When you first see her pop out with some, you know what I mean? With some one of these niggas you seen in her DM. Probably one of these niggas that you was over here, you know what I mean? Your spidey senses was tingling about. That's usually who it is. It's usually the nigga who your spidey senses was tingling about. And you know, you gotta just eat that. It's gonna fuel you up all over again, but you gotta just eat that. You gotta just hold that. So he's doing the right thing. Like I said in my tweet, I said, look, call your boys, call your mans and them. Go ahead and vent, get it out your system. And then after that, call the bitches. As many as you need. As many as you need, nigga. As many as you need. There has not been one bitch on planet Earth who I couldn't get out of my system with another bitch. Okay? There has not been one bitch who's ever been with me that I couldn't get out of my system with a second bitch. And maybe a third. Sometimes it might even take a fourth. But she gonna get the fuck out of there. She gonna get the fuck out of there. The real estate in your head, oh yeah, it's eviction notice time, nigga. That's what you got to do. This is what you got to do. Call the bitches. And she's ready to throw it. He's, you know, he ain't ready to do that though. He know once he catch it, he know. This is why he knows once he catch it, it's a wrap. But bro, you already did too much by inviting him over. She already look. First of all, she's not even answering your phone call already. She's not answering your shit. She's not answering your shit. We know how it goes. She stopped answering your phone calls a little bit. She's doing more shit. She flying out. She's this place, that place. She doing a lot of shit. She out here doing a lot of shit. But you know, it is what it is. Like she's some fine shit. Niggas is gonna pick that up. Like they gonna pick that up. You gotta deal. You just gotta hold that. Okay. So let's get on to the next topic at hand. Before we get into the Diddy stuff, we're going to stop at some Tory stuff or some semi-Tory stuff because I wanted to get in here and talk a little bit about what's going on with Milagro-grams. Okay? Shorty's been going through it a little bit ever since her case with Megan Thee Stallion kind of picked up, and she's been having some difficulties with the case ever since. Now, Megan Thee Stallion randomly picked her out of a sea of people talking shit about her or reporting the news or reporting what they report. And, you know, she randomly picked her out and says, okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, bitch, you're going to hold this lawsuit. So that's what Milagro-grams was currently doing. And we had news of her legal counsel taking their leave due to non-payment. Okay, so it was an ongoing joke in online and on X and you know these spaces where she's known about her not being able to pay her lawyers, even though she had gotten lawyers with this team of people who I guess stepped up for her, which is Unite the People. But as it happened about an hour ago, Unite the People, they submitted a request to withdraw from Milagro's team for financial difficulties. Okay, now if you guys pay attention, I remember, you know, when this stuff first started. Damn, I didn't roll a blunt yet. I've been yapping. When this shit first started, you know, academics, I think Jason Lee was one of the people that spoke out, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. But academics spoke out. He was one of the people who said, yo, we gotta get together. We gotta see what we gotta do, raise some money for Shorty or see what we can do, because as media, we gotta protect each other. And it seemed like that's kind of what this whole Unite the People was trying to do, was basically keep media together and protect media in a fashion that, you know, they're not when these big rappers and shit like that decide to sue these smaller guys or these small content creators like Milagro, that they at least have a fighting chance. They can afford legal counsel and shit like that. So she's in a bit of a pickle with that going on. And it made me wonder, because with this, and I think I heard somebody mention, like, you know, well, academic said that he was gonna, you know, send her money. This person said that she's gonna send her money, and she's not getting it. She's not receiving the money. And she's, you know, she doesn't have the money to pay for a lawyer and this, that, the third. So it's like, it makes me wonder if academics avoid it, because like I said, I think he did a live stream while he was at a Playboy Cardi concert or some shit like that one time. But he live streamed and he was like, yo, we got to really put this money down. He seemed like he was ready to join the fray. But it makes me wonder, well, is that going to also implicate you in this and trickle down to you if you help her? Is that, and it makes me wonder if that may be the reason why he hasn't like followed suit when it's come down to that, because Milagros she's just sitting dead in the water right now. So much to the point So much to the point where, you know, it would seem like now she's not even really fucking with Tory. Let's get to this clip real quick.
So I unfollowed Daystar on Instagram because I don't want to look at you. It ain't no beef or nothing. You don't have to feel like it's this or that. But I just have no comment. So I would appreciate if when you came to my Instagram, don't ask me about him. You come in any of my spaces, just don't ask me about him. We don't even have to talk about him. And we can leave it just straight like that. So I unfollowed Daystar on Instagram because I don't want to look at you. It ain't no beef or nothing. You don't have to feel like it's this or that. But I just have no comment. So I would appreciate if when you came to my Instagram, don't ask me about him.
That's how
You
she's
come in
feeling.
any of my space.
So that's how she's feeling. That's how she's feeling right now. And if I could be somewhat understanding, if I can be, you know, I guess a voice of reason or something like that, you know, I think truly, like, you know, she was seeing Tory go on all of these platforms, and don't get me wrong, Milagro has been riding for Tory, okay? Milagro has been one of the people really out here riding for Tory, and she always seemed or presented herself as someone close to the family, and you know, had a special connection to the family. She was at the entire trial for Tory Lanez, in the trial, taking notes, reporting everything. That's how a lot of us know her. At least if you came from academics community and shit like that, that's how a lot of us know her. And so, you know, she had magnificent, very entertaining coverage of that trial, and it was really good. But you know, I guess when you're with Tor, you know, when you're like you're the Tory person, you're the Tory girl, right? When you're the Tory girl, and it's like, hold on, let me do it. And it's like people are getting all of these looks, and it's not you. Think about it. He called into Nelk Boys. Jason Lee had that viral message that he sent him. He's talking to congresswomen, and he's talking to all of these people he's talking to, right? But you're not getting that look. It's probably frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Now I don't know if she's like trying to kind of trying to distance herself because of, you know, the whole the you know the what's going on with her being sued. Because if you guys haven't been paying attention, you know, they did hit a point where they were trying to implicate and say that Tory was basically paying her off to slander Megan Thee Stallion, to say, you know, certain things about Megan Thee Stallion. And that's the whole point of her case, is that, yeah, Tory was paying these people, and he's paying these people from prison to actively harass her. She can't believe, Megan Thee Stallion can't believe that people just don't like her this much. So she's convinced herself that, you know, she's being harassed. That she's being harassed by Tory and the media, because people are starting to look at this case and being like, okay, well, this shit doesn't make sense. This shit don't add up. It's just that simple. It just don't. Like, and the more and more people who, you know, look at the case, they start to say the same things. And you can't necessarily get mad at the media or anybody for that. But I digress. With all that being said, Milagro is the one who's just basically fighting for her life right now, perception wise. She's fighting for her life right now. And, you know, when you really get down to it, she's the only person not getting a special look. She's the only person not getting a call from Tori. She's the only person who don't got a voicemail, a text, a I love you, a thank you for supporting me. She's not getting anything. And as a content creator, that probably hurts. That probably hurts a lot. Like, this is what she's out here on the front lines for you. So, while she's going back and forth with certain creators, because I'm not gonna load you, Milagro is one of the women who made me just fall in love with that Memphis accent. You know what I'm saying? Just made me fall in love with that Memphis accent on a woman. I just love it. I'm sorry, I love it. So I think that's where she's. No, Houston. She's from Houston. Sorry, she got that Houston accent. So, I really just I don't want her to, you know what I'm saying, to lose her footing in what she's doing. I think she's really entertaining in what she does. I don't want her to lose what she's doing, and I don't want her to, and I feel for her, and I feel where she's coming from when it comes down to feeling how she feels about. I don't think she has to go as far. Well, she probably does have to go as far as distancing herself from Tori, making it seem like she doesn't fuck with Tori, for this case. We don't know what kind of legal counsel she's receiving or what kind of help she's getting, but it would be in her best interest to make it seem like she doesn't fuck with Tori until things blow over for herself. That's just probably in her best interest, because Tori is just in a space where he's also getting close to, perhaps getting a pardon. Now, it's been a couple of days. It's been over 36 hours. And I believe that, they're still hard at work trying to get him out. But I don't know how much success they're having with it. Just for the simple fact that, as everybody has been stating, oh, he's in jail because of criminal possession with a firearm or some shit like that. Whatever. It's possession. It's not because he shot her. It's because possession, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we all see it as Tory's in jail because he shot Megan Thee Stallion. That's what it's been for the past year and a half or so. So, all the extra shit is just bullshit, if you ask me. All the extra shit is just some bullshit. So, I really think that Tory is not trying to be in a place where his appeal can get fucked up or his pardon can get fucked up. And I feel like at very least, Tory will get pardoned at the end of Trump's last term. At the end of Trump's term, he most likely pardons Tory Lanez. That's my opinion. At the end of his next term, or at the end of this term, getting close to the end of this term, close to election time again, Trump most definitely would pardon Tory Lanez if he's still in jail, and that's just my personal opinion. I don't see Trump not, like, they done pardoned mad niggas already. I think he done pardoned Kodak. He done pardoned a couple of niggas so far who don't even really need a pardon. Kodak didn't need a pardon. That boy out here acting a goddamn fool. High, drugged up, out his mind, zooted. That boy don't need no pardon. He don't. But at very least, I think, Trump definitely gonna pardon him before on his way out. if we don't get Tory out sometime this year, which hopefully we do. Hopefully we get Tory out at about, in time for like OVO Fest or something like that so he can pop out. And hopefully he gets fully pardoned so that he can still remain in Canada. So that will be dope. That'll be dope if he gets fully pardoned so that he can still remain in Canada. But yeah, but as far as Milagro goes, I hope she does find the counsel that she needs. I hope that she figures her situation out because I fuck with Milagro. You know what I'm saying? She works hard. She is nice at what she does. Shorty is always posting, always got her blog running, always on Station Head or whatever you call it, Radiohead, Station Head, whatever. She's always doing her thing. So I salute her. I hope she stops beefing on the internet about these people trying to get in her head. Look, this is probably one of the worst times in life right now for her. It's probably a very tough moment in life. It seems like you don't got no allies. Niggas is coming at you. Megan Thee Stallion is suing you. Well, Rock Nation and Megan Thee Stallion is suing you. You getting hit with the Rock Nation lawsuit. But you have to really lock in right now in this time. Don't stop posting. Don't stop putting out content. Don't be phased by the shit. Even though that's a tall ask. That's asking for a lot. For you to just not be phased. But it is what it is. Okay. Let's pick up with today in the Diddy trial. Okay. Let's get started with that. We're going to get on to it. We have taken enough time. Okay. So we're going to get on to the Diddy shit now. Now it is day 10. And we're going to be getting into what they've been doing on day 10. We had a nice little Diddy break. Y'all had a nice Diddy break? Y'all ready to get back into the diddler and get into our Diddy shit? Okay, it says these are the type of judicial documents that were not going into the public docket in U.S. versus Sean Combs without precedent or justification until City Press filed its application that they must be docketed. Or more coming. So Inner City Press has been dropping some of these articles or documents that weren't being shown to the press or to the public. And it looks like he's been putting in so that this stuff can be put to the forefront. Okay, so let's jump in. I think last we left off with like what, Kid Cudi? If I'm not mistaken. I think last we did leave off with Kid Cudi. This is crazy. So how do y'all feeling about the Diddy trial so far? Please get in the comments as well. Get in the comments. Tell me how y'all feeling about the Diddy trial. I hope y'all oiled up for this next topic for the Diddy shit. I'm gathering all of our stuff. Y'all know it's going to be a lot of reading. We're going to really lock in. We're about to really lock in. But how y'all feeling about this? Y'all think he got a chance? Do y'all think Diddy has a chance? Do you think he is going to beat this shit? Some people saying he got a chance. I'm not going to lie. Some people saying he got a little chance. So, we got through him getting through the special agent. Just a recap. Let's recap day 9 and get into where we left off on day 9, okay? We got into a little bit of the special agent who raided his crib with all of, and found all the baby oil, all the Astroglide, et cetera, et cetera. This is the guy who was raiding, I think, the Miami mansion. Then after him, we got Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi came onto the stand. For the most part, it wasn't too crazy. It was pretty uneventful. We got a lot of good information there, including the meeting that he had with Kid Cudi. We found out that he somehow cut a hole into Kid Cudi's car. First of all, let's back up. First of all, he broke into Kid Cudi's home on some mafioso shit, opened a bunch of gifts and beat his dog and left him in the bathroom and, just messed around in his house for a little bit just to let him know that he was there. He broke into his home, cut a hole into the roof of his car, and threw a Molotov cocktail in there and blew his car up. Okay? And then they had a meeting at Soho House, I believe, with Diddy and Cassie, where they, kind of all called it quits. Kid Cudi asked them, hey, what about my car? What's going on with my car? What we gonna do about that? And this nigga's like, nigga, what car? Nigga, there ain't no fuck a car. Nigga, you ain't getting no fucking car. So he basically, deaded that. Then where do we leave off? Let's see. Then we have okay. Then we have them come back. I think that's where we left off, is Kid Cudi. Yeah, we left off at Kid Cudi because it was just a perfect place to leave it. So when they come back on Thursday, so remember, this is Thursday. We're picking up there, then we're going to hop into what's been going on today. We come back on Thursday. It says they want to put in exhibits showing Miss Ventura scantily clad. We think it plays into a stereotype that if she dresses like this, she must have consented to the freak-offs. The judge says, I only have the album cover. And it says, we can bring it up to the screen. It says, and they do. And it says, but not for the public gallery. So we don't see it. It says, we have withdrawn some of the exhibits. It's rather about her career opportunities and the like. The judge says, what's the relevance of these exhibits? The Winthus, did Miss Ventura make up? And they said, but what's the purpose of the pictures and the relevance? The Mr. Combs team says, Miss Ventura testified about her career being impacted. They said, I'll stipulate. They said, this is one of the public records. So they're trying to put some records in. They're trying to put some records in to basically say they're like, she's saying that, her career, she didn't want her career to be impacted by certain things, but, here you have her playing up to her sex appeal in these exhibits. So this is kind of what they were trying to show at that point, okay? They're kind of trying to play up to her sex appeal. So we get to Mila Morales. I have to make sure I say it right. Almost sounds like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, right? I'm the only one that picked up on that. So Maya Morales is a celebrity makeup artist. Okay. So they bring her in. I'm guessing they're only going to have her in briefly, but they bring her in. Now let's get into her. So they bring her up. This is the prosecution. They ask, do you recognize anyone you've worked for? She says, Sean Combs in the gray sweater and white collar. When did you work for Mr. Combs? She says 2000 to 2005. Then who? She says Rihanna. She says who else? She said Jennifer Lopez and Cassie. When did you work with Cassie? She says 2007 all the way until COVID. She was like a little sister to me. How much older than her are you? She said a few years. Did you see her with injuries on her face? She said 2010 Grammy weekend, Prince party. Where were you with her? Beverly Hills, I fell asleep in the room and woke up to a commotion. Cassie walked in, then Sean asking where the fuck is she? That's what she says. They then ask, what did he do? She says, walked into the bedroom, shut the door. What did you hear behind the door? She says, yelling and screaming, both of them. Then Sean left. They said, what did you see next? Cassie, she had a swollen eye and knots on her head. I packed her things up when we went to my house. Then she says, my doctor friend came and examined her to see if she had a concussion. And what were you afraid of? She said, Sean, I feared for my life. They object. They said move to strike. They said it's overruled. They asked, how long did she stay? She said days. Have you done interviews about this? She says a couple. They say, were you paid? She says no. Did you provide evidence? She says photos of me and Kim Porter, early 2000s. They said, were you paid? She said $1,000. They say no further questions. Diddy's team comes in for cross-examination. They say, did you assist Miss Ventura for any red carpet events? She says possibly, and some music video, Black and Yellow. We have photos, 647 please. And they show photos from a video shoot. They said the goal was that she looked put together, and she answers yes. These photos show your artistry, your reposition. You reposted them on Instagram. She said yes. You were in a hotel room, though you lived near. She says yes. You met Miss Ventura's family. She says her father. You called a doctor and a lawyer. She says the lawyer lives in San Francisco. You provided them emotional support. She says yes. You did an interview with CNN and with Extra TV, Don Lemon and Pierce Morgan. She says yes. Did Dateline reach out to you? She says, I don't look at those anymore. So real quick, so she was on all of these things. Let's see if we can find her real quick. And her name is Maya Morales. That's her name. Because they saying the bitch was on Pierce Morgan. She was on this, that. They saying the bitch is on everything. Okay, so we found the clip of her. This is her.
She was the sweetest girl. I always looked at her as like my little sister, and she was young. She was like always so sweet and such a beautiful spirit.
Well, you're one of the few people who are actually speaking up about what they saw. Why have you come forward now?
Well, I have a long standing history with Puff and Cass is a friend of mine, and I met her before she was in the music industry. And you know, I've kept this very quiet for 14 years. I mean, it's been a very long time. And once I saw the video, I just felt like I need to say something, you know, and I know that it's frowned upon to talk about, you know, these sort of things when you're in the industry, you know, because you're dealing with a very powerful person. And but they're, you know, humans are involved. And Cass is she's a woman, and she was treated very poorly, and not just poorly, but like it's almost I don't even know the word for it.
14 years is a long time to stay quiet about something you knew.
Yeah, and I had to, because, you know, I am an industry professional, and these are certain things that you can't.
Yeah, she's jacking like, yeah, I had to stay quiet. Like, I don't know if I really buy it. Like, you know, like, oh, I had to stay quiet. There was nothing that I can do. But, you know, she's here on 60 Minutes doing her interview. Like, she's doing her big one. Like, she's doing her media rounds right now. And I guess she's just putting it all out there. So Let's see what she says a little bit here. She says a
really
little
like
something
come
different.
forward with. Even with Cassie, being with Cassie at the time, we both couldn't say anything. You know, so we just kind of kept quiet about it and went about our lives after that.
That must take its toll after a while, knowing what you saw and then now knowing what we're hearing. How are you feeling looking back on those years?
Well, looking back and also like with the court cases coming out in November, reading them through, I was just really shocked to see what he was doing to her. And that really triggered me as a woman and as a friend. It really like it put me in a
Well, the fuck. When the fuck did it trigger you? The year 1 or year fucking 11? Like, goddamn, you damn near was there for the whole relationship. Like, the fuck, you was there for the whole relationship, bitch. Let's get back to what she was saying in court. So she says, yes, I was on all those shows. She said, did Dateline reach out to you? She says, I don't look at those anymore. She says, did you ask the government if you could do more? She says, look at this. They said, so you asked permission to speak to Dateline? She says, of course I asked. After the incident, neither Mr. Combs or anyone from his company ever approached you? She says, no one did. They said, for a documentary, were you paid? She says, therapy. So they said, you sold the photos to CNN for $1,000? She says, yes. That's it, bitch. The fuck? They said, no further questions. And then they bring in the next witness. So this lady has made her rounds. She's talked her shit. And you can find her interviews. This is Maya Morales. You can find her interviews. She's done a couple. And I'm sure she does her whole, woe is me as far as what was going on.
This is your job.
Looking for an easier way to get
And it seems like the
that
whole time
LLC.
she's like just trying to explain away in this right here why she didn't say anything.
It goes back to centuries when they're like people in positions of power. What are the servants going to do? There's maybe like 2 other people that knew about the incident that happened that night. This is 6 years prior to the actual incident. The video that you saw, the CNN video, 6 years prior to that.
It's eerily similar, isn't it? But what were you hearing behind that door?
Yelling and just a scuffle going on in the room. Obviously, I don't even remember what I was hearing because
So this is what she was giving, basically her testimony. This is basically what she was saying.
tuned that out already. But because I was literally like, it's PTSD, is trauma. Like you don't like what stop. That's all I could say is stop, like, what do you do? How do you, in that situation, I mean, like all I can think about was like, should I call the police? Should I call the security? I did not know what to do at that moment.
How long did that go on for?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I don't remember. It's like
Yeah, so that's basically what she was giving at her testimony. After that, they call the next witness, which is Frederick Zimmer, who's the general manager at the Le Hermitage Hotel, LA. Sounds like some French shit. He said, "Why are you here?" He said, "I received a subpoena." They asked, "Are you familiar with the hotel's reservation system?" He says, "We have a system called Opera. We enter in personal preferences." They asked, "How long do you keep them?" He said, "They stay forever." How reserved is this room? How reserved is this room for Sean Combs? He says, Ryan Lopez, also other names that was used. They asked, when was this profile first created? He said 2006. It was Sean Combs and Bad Boy Records. Then they changed it to Jackie Star. Let's look at 2011, 2012. This reservation, what's the bill? He said over $2,000. it says only charge if Christina Coram approves. They said, what were the instructions? He said, put room out of service for cleaning. Like the room hot, set it for 75 degrees. I mean, that's not really hot, but it said, what are these complaints? He says, candle wax on carpet, security called. Charge was $500. They said no further questions. They come back for cross-examination. They say none. They bring in the next witness. This is special agent Josh Croft. So they ask, where do you work? He says HSI is Homeland Security Investigations. He said, I extract data from computers. They said, what is your training? He says, the SANS Institute. They ask, what does that stand for? He says, I don't really know. They're opaque in that way. They said, what tools do you use? He said, TX1 and Digital Collector. Whose laptops did you extract? He said, Cassie Ventura. This is a MacBook Pro, roughly from 2010, 2011, with a white case. Did you boot it up? He says, I got the MacBook factory default screen. They said, but you got data. He said, yes, the hard drive had data not overridden by the factory reset. They says, what is unallocated space? He said something not viewable. Something previously deleted. They said, explain how computers store data. He says, you have a ton of contents. A file can be stored in an unallocated space. So these 3 laptops, how are they backed up? He says iTunes was used before iCloud. Some looks a little funky. But you can validate the funky, as you say, data by going to the raw data. He says yes. Nothing further. The defense comes back. They say, on one of the laptops, there was a Frank Black profile. He says yes. Did you process every file? He said yes. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. He said, Frank Black, did you proceed? He just says, have a wonderful weekend. The defense says, I don't know what that means. And then I guess the prosecution comes back. They didn't clarify that. Sorry. So after the defense says, have a wonderful weekend, the prosecution comes back. They say, Frank Black, did you proceed under Mr. Ventura's consent? Agent Croft says, under warrant. They said, no more. Judge says, no more witnesses. Jurors, I intend to release you early. Any objections? And he says, laughter. He says, don't read anything about the case. Go for a walk. Watch the Knicks avenge their game 1 loss. It didn't happen. But yeah. And then they broke for Thursday. So that was Thursday. Let's get into what's going on today. We're going to get into what's going on today real quick. Okay. All right. I lost X. 1 second, because I lost X. I don't know why. But for whatever reason, I lost my stream on X. I lost my stream on X. Hold on, let me play this real quick.
That moment in time was just like, I don't quite remember that particular moment, just after the fact.
Describing those injuries, knots to the head, bruises, when she walked out that room, how did she look?
Like that moment, we were just rushing out. It was obviously after, when we got to my house, we were like, oh my God, this is just insane. Like, I can't believe that he actually did this to you. You can't be around him anymore. Like, you have to escape somehow. But obviously it didn't happen.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs.
Yeah, the stream went down on X, but we're obviously still going.
Look at her and see her.
We're obviously still going, so I'm just posting this up so they can continue to watch.
Her injuries, describe to me, how badly was she banged up?
It was really bad. I don't know how any man could hurt another human being that way. In general, I mean, I don't care if it's just a slap in the face or you just shouldn't be beating on women like that. That's just horrific.
What was Cassie saying?
Nothing. I mean, what can she say? I'm sure she was very embarrassed. I don't know. I can't speak on her behalf. It's like, especially if that went on and you know the person in front of you. It's not like somebody that's a stranger or whatnot. You know this person, which is me. And what do you say to somebody like me after that?
I mean, how old is she at this point?
That was 2010. So how old? She's 38 now. So that was like, she might have been like in her like early 20s. And that's like the beginning of your like life, your adult life. And to have to deal with something like that on such a high, scale, like especially, it's different if you're just a random housewife, but this is something that, is on for the public to find out about, and if the public finds out, then that's a whole scandal. So, I'm not saying anything, one situation is different from the other, but we were dealing with something a little bit different. And there's nobody that we can really like call upon to help.
What do you remember when that door swung open? What do you remember? Was Diddy there? Did you see him, or did Cassie come?
Okay. I just wanted to make sure our people on X, a majority of our listeners on X, can still hop in on our other platforms where we're still streaming and lock in with us. Okay. So let's pick up, like as I said, let's pick up where we left off. We're gonna get to today and what is going on in trial today. Okay. So we're gonna do that next. Hold on. Let me get to where they're at real quick. Because as you know, these guys be rolling fast. Okay? All right. So day 10 now. We're into day 10. Okay? They're starting with the rulings on testimonies of Capricorn Clark and others. The DNA in Kid Cudi's burned car. And the investigator Jimenez, whoever that is. So we'll get into that. All right. So the judge says, I seen you burn the midnight oil over the weekend. Holy, what are you talking about? The midnight oil? Judge going crazy. And judge is going crazy. Let's get into the witness. He bugging out already. I'm not even about to continue that. I'm not even about to continue that. Let's see where they bring the witness in. It's sidebar after the direct. Okay, what about the summary charts? I'm just trying to get to where they bring in the jury and the witness. Okay, they got the jury. It says, welcome back. They said, call your next witness. Okay, so it says the government calls Capricorn Clark. They ask, where did you grow up? Capricorn Clark says he was born in San Francisco. Moved to LA, worked for Def Jam, then Death Row Records. At late 90s, a gangster rap label. They said, what was your relations to Suge Knight? They said, he's the father of my friend's child. They said, then you worked for Sean Combs? He says, yes. He's over there in the blue sweater. I worked for him from 2004 to 2012. He said, were you kidnapped? He says, yes. It says, when did you first meet Mr. Combs? He says, when I moved to NYC in 2002. We were super platonic friends. A headhunter said I should work for him as a personal assistant. I did until 2006. They said your duties. He says I shadow him from wake up. It said then what? He said head of women's for Sean John. He said how long? He said a year. Then global brand director for Sean Combs. Name and likeness due diligence to grow the brand. Then I was terminated until 2016 for Cassie Ventura. They said, did you work in this building? And they show a photo of Bad Boy Records office. He said, yes, we moved there in 2005. Your first day, where did Mr. Combs take you? He said Central Park after dark, along with Uncle Paulie. He looked like a linebacker. He said, does this photo look like him? He said, no, doesn't have on the blackout shades he wore all the time. It says, what did Mr. Combs tell you in the park? He said that since I'd worked for Suge Knight, if anything's happened, he might have to kill me. They said objection. It was overruled. And they said proceed. They said, how did you take it? And he said, seriously, it had gravitas. He said, how did you react? He said, I didn't have anything to do with that stuff. He said objection. They said sustain. Then he says, Miss Steiner. They said, what was Paulie's role? He says, all aspect of Mr. Combs' movements to keep him safe. There were also D-Rock, Roger Bonds, and Ruben. They said, who's D-Rock? He said, a good friend of Biggie Smalls, running back type body. They said, did you ever? Why you keep talking about niggas' bodies? What the fuck is wrong with this thing? Did you ever observe Mr. Combs with a gun? He says, yes, in my home. They said, and did he talk about it? He says, Mr. Combs, told Chris lightly he had a gun. He had a problem with 50 Cent, not 50. Now we bringing 50 into it too. Maybe this is also why 50 was, you know what I'm saying? 50's definitely going to have something to say about this. It says, were you ever accused of stealing? He says, yes, jewelry. It had been given to me. It was on loan. It went missing. They asked, it went missing? He said, yes. What did you do? He says, from Teterboro, I called 1440 and told them to lock it down. What did Uncle Paulie do? He questioned 3 hours, he said. You went home? He says, to Queens, yes, with Uncle Paulie. He searched my house. They said, where did Uncle Paulie take you? He said 1710 Broadway. It was disciplined. What is this? Dilapidated? I don't know. I don't know what that means. He says it was being fixed up, but I didn't know that Uncle Paulie took me to the 6th floor. The door was locked behind us. There was a 6-foot folding table and a heavy-set man. They said, can you describe him? He says, 5 to me, 2 linebackers. He was chain smoking. Said, did Uncle Paulie say something? No, he said, did Uncle Paulie stay? He said, no. Intermittently came back. They said, what did the heavy-set man say? He said, I was there to take a lie detector test. What did he say would happen if you failed the lie detector test? He said that I would be that they would throw me in the East River. They said objection, and they asked for a sidebar. They have a sidebar. They come back from the sidebar. The judge says to proceed, and they ask, what was his demeanor? He says, very serious. I was terrified. Did you want to be taking the test? He said, no, I was afraid. How was the test? Wires on you, and they question you. Did I steal? He said, did he tell you the results? He said, calm down, that he couldn't get a good reading, and he might have to throw me in the East River. Anyone else in the building? Not to my knowledge, he said. Could you leave? He said, no. Paulie said no. What did Paul say at the end? He said that he'd come back the next day to figure this out. We started again, another lie detector test in the same location all day. So all day, Diddy had these niggas giving this nigga a lie detector test to make sure they get a good reading. They said, were you free to leave? He said, no. How long did this go on? The nigga said 5 days. 5 days. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, this is kidnapping. 5 days? Goddamn. You got a nigga on lock for 5 days. I don't know what to say about that. Like, you're bugging out. You really bugging out. Like, you bugged all the way the fuck out. Like, I don't know what you got going on, but you bugging out. They said, so he said he had him there for 5 days. They said, did you tell anyone where you were? He says, no, I was just trying to survive it. I worked under NDA. They said, objection. He said, sustain. The jury should disregard the last answer, the judge says. What would have you been doing? He said, shadowing Mr. Combs. They said, what happened after the 5 days? He says that I could return to work. Mr. Combs would see me the next week. He said, did Mr. Combs ever discuss it with you? He said, no. Why did you continue to work with Mr. Combs? He said, if I left, they think I stole. They said, what were your days like? He said, from his townhouse at 74th Street and Park in the morning to Daddy's house studio at night. They said, how much sleep did you get? He says, on a good day, 4 hours. On a bad day, 2. I got stress. I got a stress condition. I was paid $55K. They said, 55K. Hold up, 55K a year, nigga? You bugging the fuck out. They said, did you get paid overtime? He says, no. I spoke to the head of HR. She says I was owed $80,000. They said, how did Mr. Combs respond? They said he ripped up the paper. They said, would Mr. Combs stay at hotels? He said, yes. He says, with whom? He said, Kim Porter, once a week. They said, what names would he book the rooms under? He said, Frank Black, Frank White. And the girlfriend, he said, Jackie Starr. Where did they stay? He said, Intercontinental Buckhead in Atlanta, Beverly Hills Hotel in LA. Where were his bags? He said, what were in his bags? I'm sorry. He says, a camera, small bottles of baby oil and lube. Cameras every time. What would you be doing? He said, watching TV, ordering room service, keeping up on sleep. Afterward, I sweep the room for anything left behind. They said, any damages? He said, baby oil. How frequently would Mr. Combs stay in a hotel with Cassandra in 2008? He said, like once a week, at the Le Hermitage in London and the Intercontinental for several days with the IV drips. Did he speak to you about his relationship with Miss Ventura? He said, yes. Miss London was there. Chef Jordan in the other room. He called Cassie over, asked her to walk there, hand me that, go back in the other room. She did it. He said, what did he say? He said, you bitches won't do that. That's why you don't have a man. So he's talking to the other. So basically, he talking to everybody. He got these motherfuckers in the room. And he over here like, hey, hand me that right there. Give me that shit right there. Like, yeah. He told Cassie, like, yeah, walk over there and hand me that. And go back in the other room. And she did exactly that. No questions asked. Didn't talk back. Did exactly. And he said, see? He said, you bitches won't do that. That's why y'all bitches don't got a man. Yeah, he's talking his shit. Like, yeah, he was popping. Diddy was letting his nuts hang for a long time. They said, what did you say? He says, you motherfucking right. They said, did you observe Mr. Combs obtain drugs? He said a girlfriend in NY and in LA. From one stop Molly ecstasy delivered to Puffer me. He said, did he ask you to get drugs for him? He said, yes, ecstasy. He said, and in the south of France? He said, he asked me to get cocaine. I said, for who? They asked why. He said, I wasn't going to do it given how my mother died. They said objection, and they said sidebar. The sidebar was ongoing, and then they came back. They asked, who did Mr. Combs say the drugs were for? He said, not for me. They said, did you get them? He said, yes, through the Spanish security guard. He also got prescription drugs in my name. They were in the toiletry bag I'd carry for security. They said, what about bulk cash? He said, yes, 100,000 euro coming back from Europe. They asked, where'd he get it? He said, club bookings in Europe. He'd keep it, then give it to security, then into his bedroom personal safe. They asked about the violence. He says there was fighting. They said, was Mr. Combs violent with you? He says, yes, at Star Island. He told me you are not to leave this house. Pharrell Williams was brought in by boat. I returned Mr. Walker to Palm Island. He called and said, where the fuck are you? You can't have a life. God damn. Them niggas is bugging. I ain't gonna hold you. He was bugging out. This nigga said, you can't have a life. If my boss ever told me some shit like that, I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm kindly telling you to suck a dick. Then I'm telling you to meet me on my block with all my peoples. We gonna stand 10 toes down. We can shoot it out if you really want to do that, nigga. You're gonna have to catch me slipping. You're gonna have to catch me lacking. I'm sorry. I'll tell Diddy to suck my dick. They said he says one time I asked the chef if there was turkey bacon. She said no fucking turkey bacon. I said I hate it here. The chef told Mr. Combs and he pushed me again and again. He said, what did he say? He said, if you hate it here, then get the fuck out of here. They said, did you leave your employment? He says, I did. They said, but you returned? He says, as global brand director. They said, why? He said he was impressed by what I did in the job I'd left for. A couple of albums. He said, you wouldn't have to work directly for me. They said, what were you doing for Miss Ventura? He said, managing her image, maximize the optics for her. For Sean Combs, he had final approval on everything. They said, in LA, where did you live? He said, a gated community. We followed Kim Porter there. Where was Miss Ventura? He said, in NYC on West End. She would come to LA and stay with him or with me or in a hotel. Who else was Miss Ventura seeing? He said, Miss Cuddy. They said, how did you learn that? He said, she brought him to my apartment. They said, what did she say? She said, she texted me they were going to this public place in LA. I told her it was a bad idea and to delete the text. They said, why? They said, if Mr. Combs learned about Mr. Muscuddy, Mr. Combs paid for my phone and hers. They said, I took Cassie to Best Buy to get a burner phone. They said, when did Mr. Combs return to town? He said, not long after. He took Cassie to a hotel, the Capriani. They said, and then? He said, December 22, 2011, between 5:30 and 6 a.m., there was a banging at my door. They said, what did you see through the peephole? He said, a furious puff. They said, objection. They asked another question, Mr. Steiner. That's what they asked another question, Mr. Steiner, says the judge. They asked, what was his movement? He said, pacing with something in his hand. They said, did you open the door? He said, I did. They said, what was he wearing? He said, a button-down sweater, torn pants. He was holding a gun. He came into my apartment and said, why didn't you tell me? Who is Scott? I said, I don't know any Scott. They said, what did he say? He said he was going to kill this N-word, this nigga. They said, where was the gun? He said, in his hand. I said I didn't want to go. He said, I don't give a fuck what you want. Get dressed. What concerns did you have? He'd never come to my house. They said, did you try to escape? He says, no, I got dressed. It said, who joined in? He said, Ruben in the back in the black Escalade executive class. They said, where was Ruben? He said, in the driver's seat. I got in the back seat, right hand side. Mr. Combs was in the left next to me. Usually he would have sat in the front. The gun was in his lap. They said, how long does it take to drive from your home at the time to Kid Cudi's house in the Hollywood Hills? They said, if you push it, 15 to 20 minutes. What did Mr. Combs and Rube do at Cudi's house? They said they went in. He said, could you see? He said, yes. They said, what did you do? He said, I called Cassie on her burner. I said, Cassie, where the fuck? I told Puff was at Cudi's house. I'm guessing he meant what the fuck. And then he said, I told her that Puff was at Cudi's house. Then I changed her number in my phone to my best friend Stormy. It said, what did you hear on the phone? He said that Scott was at Cassie's. They said when Mr. Combs came back, they said he took my phone and called the last number. Then I saw Cudi driving up. Mr. Combs saw my face and said, there's that nigga right there. He continues. He says, we drove off and saw the police driving the other way toward Cudi's. Puff was pulling himself together. We stopped at the Key Club and he told me to call Cassie. What did he tell you to do with Cassie? What did he tell you to tell Cassie? He said that he had me and he wouldn't let me go. He said, how did Miss Ventura respond? She said, okay, come get me. She was calm. They said, who drove you home? He said, Ruben. He said, what did Mr. Combs then tell you? He said to convince Cudi not to say that it had been him at his house. I picked up Cassie. They said, where did you go? He said, we went to Cudi's and tried to convince him not to file a police report. They said, what did you tell them? He said, Puff came to my house with a gun. Okay, they said, what did you tell him? He said that Puff came to my house with a gun. They said, what did you tell them? He said, if you tell on him, he'll hurt us all. They said, what was Mr. Muscuti's reaction? They said, mind blown. And then they said, objection. They said, sustain. They said the jury will disregard. They asked, what happened at the house? They said, he was kicking Cassie again and again. They said, how was Cassie? He said, in the fetal position, Mr. Combs kicked her all the way to the street. She was crying silently. They said, where was he kicking her? He said, her backside. And then he said, his voice cracks a little bit, it says. They said, where were you? He said, 5 feet away, so was Rue. It says, what did Mr. Combs say to you? He said, if you jump in, I'm going to fuck you up too. What did Rube do? He said, nothing. Who did you call? He said, D-Rock. I told him, tell your brother to stop Puff. He's kicking the shit out of her. He said, I called Paulie too. I said he'd take care. I said he'd take care of it, but Rube did nothing. They said, what's next? What next? He said, Mr. Combs told me to get the fuck out too. I left on foot. Could you still see her getting kicked? He said, until I went around the bend. God damn. They said, then who did you call? He said, Regina Ventura. I told her he's kicking the shit out of your daughter. I can't call the police, but you can. They said, why didn't you call the police? He said, the mission of the day was to get Cudi. So no calling the police. Okay. They asked this email, who is it from? He said, Cassie. She wrote that he would be releasing sex tapes about me and he would have someone else hurt me if Scott Muscuddy he would have someone hurt me and Scott Muscuddy. It said, do you recall if you responded to this? He says, I don't. It said, did law enforcement call you? He said, the arson investigators. Cuddy had given them my name. I hung up on them. I just wanted this to be over. And what did Mr. Combs say to you? He said, I should kill you bitches and I should cut her face. Damn. They then asked, how many times did Mr. Combs threaten you? He said, I'd say 50 times. D-Rock was there just doubling down on whatever Puff was saying in the moment. They said, who is Harv Pierre? They said, the president of Bad Boy Records. I told him Puff had kidnapped me. They said, what did Harv Pierre tell you? He said that's crazy, but it's going to be okay. I got the termination notice. I was accused on not properly putting in for the vacation I was on. They said, how you put in? He said, yes, to Harv Pierre. They said, did you lose benefits? He says, all of them. Health, 401k, my house, and car. They said, what did Mr. Combs say? He said that I would never work again, that he would make me kill myself. They said, did you get a job offer? He said, I did, but it fell through. I couldn't get a job. They said, did you settle with Mr. Combs? He says in October 2012 and then they call it objection. They say, can I approach? They have another sidebar. When they come back, the prosecution continues and they say, aside from that settlement agreement, do you have any other pending litigation against Mr. Combs? He says, no. Did you go back to work for him? He said in 2016, no one else would hire me. Cassie had a new record deal with Epic. They said, who did you have to get approvals from? He said, Sean Combs. Cassie was taking more drugs. They said, was she still dating Mr. Combs? He said, yes. He said, in December 2003, why did you retain an attorney? He said, I was traumatized by Cassie's civil complaint. They asked, no, he continues. He says, her complaint did not reference me. I reached out to Mr. Combs and said, I want my life back. You kidnapped me. They said, objection, overruled. And they asked, was there a discussion of you working for Mr. Combs again? He says, yes, as chef on staff, as chief of staff. When did you last speak with Mr. Ventura? He says 2018. They said, in Mr. Cuddy? He says in 2012. They say no further questions. They break. And then they come back. They say, can I start? And the judge says, we'll be taking a break. So they take a break. Excuse me. And then they come back. And then they ask, you're still under oath. They says, we met in, this is the defense asking. They says, we met in April 2014. You had a lawyer, Brian Friedman. He said, yes. They said, you wanted to come back and work with Mr. Combs, right? He says, we discussed it. You saw Miss Geragos taking notes. He says, yes. You said you didn't think Cassie was good for Mr. Combs. Why? He says, I just thought they were toxic. Tell me about when you were in NY. He says, I was in the Bronx. I hated it. It was 2002. I met Jeanette, then Mr. Combs. In 2001, the World Trade Center thing. Then I met Mr. Combs. He wasn't doing drugs, right? He said he did. Ecstasy in Daddy's house. But it got worse. He said yes. You authorized Mr. Friedman to seek a job for you. He said it was all very procedural, lawyer to lawyer. But you were told you couldn't be given a job in the middle of an investigation. He said, I don't remember that. Read this and let me know when you're done. Do you remember saying you had the biggest crush on him? They say objection. 403. And the judge says it's being offered for the truth. No, the prosecution said it's being offered for the truth. They said we had to type on this sidebar. They have a sidebar. They come back. They ask, this is still the defense. They ask, you called him Chalk for chocolate? He said, I did. They said, you started with Def Jam, Run DMC? I didn't go back that far. I'm more Foxy Brown, Redline, Jay-Z. They said, so how did you come to work for Mr. Combs? He said, I put my resume on Monster after the World Trade Center thing. He said, you'd work for me? I was like, maybe. He was acting on Broadway and Raisin in the Sun. I was impressed. He had a major part? They said he was a star. Then I shadowed him on the Vote or Die campaign. My job was to get the t-shirts on the celebrities and into the photo shoots. I'd call them and say Puff wanted them to come. And they came? He said they did. How long before did jewelry go missing? The jewelry missing thing. He said it was about 4 months. On the 4th of July, he threw a white party at his home in the Hamptons that year with Vote or Die. They said, when did the jewels missing happen? He said after 4th of July. The jewels were still on, he said, no, he continues, he says the jewels were still on loan from Jacob the jeweler. He said, who else got the lie detector? He said Mike B, his stylist. He too had gone to the street level of 1440 for manicures. The lie detector tests were the next day. They said, you never told HR? He said, no. I got fired for 3 weeks. They asked, how did you get unfired? He said, I went to work on his 35th birthday at Capriani to do the celebrity list. I came back. They asked in 2004 to 2006. He said, not at all. As a personal assistant, he said, then liaison. I was making $65,000 for Combs, then $90 at Live. Why did you come back to Mr. Combs? He said, I had gotten top records for R. Kelly. Mr. Combs said he was impressed, asked me to come back for Sean John and for Woman. I think it was really good for I think I was a really good employee for him. He told you you were awesome. He did not use that word. You worked hard for him? He said, I did. He said, others worked hard too, right? He says, not as hard as me. He said, I did learn a lot from Mr. Combs. And then he almost started crying. He said he broke the glass ceiling for us black people in the business world. And then they said, do you need a minute? He says, no, it's just complicated. So it seems like, this man has, and like others that we've seen in this, they have a great respect. They have a great respect for Sean Combs. You know what I'm saying? Like they hold a great respect for him. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, that he went down this path, because you can tell these people really fucked with him, and they fucked with what he did for black people as a whole. And I think a lot of that is going to be diminished with this case and what is going on here. But I think regardless, it is important to note that Sean Combs did break down a lot of barriers. He helped get Barack Obama elected. He did his thing with that. Like, I mean, the man really made his stamp in history. Regardless of all of this stuff, it's just unfortunate that his legacy has to be tainted by this. Okay, so they say we'll take a break, and they take a break. So they go on a long break, and they come back. And we're just about 54 minutes out. It said they proceed to use the communications between Mr. Clark and Miss Ventura. We don't see any non-hearsay purpose. Said the logistics and photo shoots being discussed, blah, 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 whatever. So let's keep on moving. Let's get back to where we bring back in the jury. Okay, they're now entering. So the defense comes back in and continues questioning. They says, when you went into the park, it was to Tavern on the Green. He says, we parked there earlier in the day. Earlier in the day in the park, we ran into Nas. Okay. They ask, when you say you had Miss Ventura spin, who was there? Let me show you what you said. You said Laurianne Gibson was there. He said they misheard me. They asked, when did you first meet Cassie Ventura? He says, I met her with Ryan Leslie. Why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? He says, in 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend, and the longer it lasted, she thought I was being paid to help her. They said objection, and then it was sustained, and they said re-ask. They said, what did you see? She went from being a sweet model to being a feisty girlfriend. Do you think she was talented? They said she had talent, and she was very beautiful. They said, but not talented? They said, yo, the nigga said she was not. I have good taste. Yo, wait, I can't be reading this right. They said, do you think she was talented? They said, do you think she was talented? He said she had talent and she was very beautiful, but not talented? She was not. I have good taste. God damn. That nigga said Cassie wasn't talented. Fuck all that shit. I don't know about all that. I don't know if she was talented. That nigga said talented to me is Whitney Houston. Mariah. Oh, he kept going. Oh, he's cooking her. Oh my God, he's cooking her. He said talented to me is Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. Cassie, she was more of a studio musician. She needed things equalized. They said, did she perform live? He said a couple times, not the greatest. Was she a hard worker? He said at times. They said, when wasn't she a hard worker? He said she preferred to be with her boyfriend. When we moved to LA, after Kim had the twins, 2009-ish, I saw her developing more of her relationship with Puff, Mr. Combs. They said he supported her? Yes, he says, with stylists, other musicians, all the components to make a star. So he telling it like it is. Like this might work in the defenses, even though he's giving it up. They said, did she get more help than others? He says, yes. Young Jock and groups from Atlanta. I developed French Montana. He says, I ran into Cassie. She says she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. They said, what about Official Girl? He said, super cute video. They said King of Hearts. He says, it was fresh. Puff liked it. They said Cassie had a green wig. He said, yes. We moved to admit this witness. He said they came back with the prosecution said there is a ceiling issue. The defense asks, you don't remember this email? And then Capricorn Clark comes back and says, I don't. The defense says, here in 2012, you are settling up a recording session for Cassie. He says, Mario Wainans was for the chairman. They said for Mr. Combs. He says, yes. He said, when did you learn Cassie was dating Mr. Cuddy? He says, fall of 2011. I picked her up there. He says, you believe that after Thanksgiving, Miss Ventura and King Cuddy were what? He says, getting to know each other. He says, why do you get her a burner phone at Best Buy? He says, I told her you cannot do this on your bad boy phone. He says, how did you know about the burner phone? He says, I grew up in Los Angeles. And they asked in December 2011, Mr. Combs was at an orphanage with Almighty. I'm not even going to pronounce that. He says, I heard it was Russian. Oh, it was Russia, or it was in Russia. It said, how was Mr. Combs? They said, how did Mr. Combs get into your building? He says, I was told the security guard got fired. They said, what was his name? Some random security guard. They said, what did he look like? Black guy, younger than 35. They said, what was Mr. Combs doing with the gun? They said, he had it in his hand. It says, he was pointing it at you? He says, no. They said, but you told the government he pointed it at you. He said, it says, or waved it around. He says, that's more correct. They then come back and say, where did you change into street clothes? He says, in my closet. They says, isn't it true that you went so that Mr. Combs wouldn't do something stupid? He says, no, I went because he said he didn't care that I didn't want to go. And that's where he kind of leaves off. We're at about a minute left off of where they're at in trial right now. Let's just see if he has an update real quick. Okay, he comes back. He says he's a jealous guy. He says he has a bad temper. They said to the Escalade, did you pass a security guard? He says, I saw him in his little hut. They said Mr. Combs was behind the driver with a gun on his lap. You made a call? He says, no, not then. Oh, he's shooting. He's firing fast. They said, did you look at Kid Cudi's door to see if they could get through it? He says, I was not really paying attention. I was so in my head trying to plan my next step. I was praying that Cudi was not in there. They said, did Cassie have 2 rooms? And that's where they left off, asking him if Cassie had 2 rooms. That was literally a second ago. Okay? So that's where we're going to leave it today. And we're going to pick up, of course, after tomorrow. We're gonna pick up at tomorrow. I'm sorry. We're gonna pick up tomorrow, when it's time to go over and get into day 11. Okay, so we'll be doing that pretty soon. Well, tomorrow, cause your boy is exhausted for now, and that's all the updates that we got literally a second ago. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for stopping through. We lost our X stream, so if you guys are coming through on another stream, or if you're coming through from X, just go ahead and drop a follow, drop a subscribe, drop a like, and drop a comment. Do all of that good shit. Tell us what you're thinking about the trial so far. Tell us what are some of the most shocking moments from the trial that you have heard so far. I would love to hear it. I would love to get into some of that with you guys. And yeah, this is just it's crazy. It's continuing to be I don't know. Even though you hear the same story from different perspectives, you get little details that just make it it just makes it like just crazy. So we're continuing with the craziness, with the jaw-dropping testimonies from the Diddy trial, and we'll be back tomorrow same time to continue where we left off. So I appreciate you guys for hopping in with me again. I'm your boy Dope Boy Diesel, and I would appreciate it real quick. I have been having a spike in music, in my music, for whatever reason. I don't know why. Whether you guys have been, it seems like they've been just reaching out and I don't know, just putting my shit on a playlist, a couple of radio spins or whatever. So if you do want to get in tune, with that, please hop into any of the playlists. If you hop into any of the official playlists of the Doja Room, you can follow your boy there. Pick me up on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music, wherever you listen to music. We're there with it, and I would appreciate it if you go ahead and give us a spin too. We have an album dropping Friday. Okay. Vibes and Highs is dropping Friday, ladies and gentlemen. And I will do a special little listening event where I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to listen to the whole project on stream. I'm going to break some of the stuff down. We're going to have a little live streaming event. But yeah, it's all geared up and ready to be a movie on Friday, and for us to have some nice summer vibes. Okay, I want to put those vibes in the air, you know what I'm saying, from the king of vibes, truly, you know what I mean. So yeah, please look out for that. I would appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate everybody who stops into the streams and fucks with me in the streams for coming in here and talking my shit. But we are dropping a whole album on Friday, so I got some of the team in there. I got the gang in there. And just about everything that I've written is in there. Okay. Just about everything that I've written and or I've penned or touched these records in, you know, a significant way that I want to display to the world. So again, go ahead and hop in. You can follow your boy Dope Boy Diesel on all platforms, X, Instagram, and also on music platforms too if you want to listen to music too. I got it there for you. Okay, so I appreciate you guys for stopping through. This is the Doja Room with Dope Boy Diesel, and I'll be back tomorrow for us to continue into day 10, this recap of what happened today, and then we'll get into day 11 of the Diddy trial. Okay, because that's what we're going into tomorrow. Okay, so for all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts, I appreciate you guys for stopping into the Doja Room. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you guys come through real oiled up. Okay, come through oiled up, but don't come at all. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all be safe. Have a good one. I gotta put a heating pad on my back and get some sleep. All right, let's get it.
Yeah. Hey, this that special sauce. Spill that drip, I wipe it off. $1 million worth of game. Can't feel that I work too hard. Poetry on Lenny's.